Go.
We're recording.
Oh, I'm not centered. Woo. Okay. Welcome to another edition of the Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
Yes, Sun Dragon Side-by-Sideshow. Sideshow. Still figuring out how to work that.
I'm somewhere in there.
Yeah. We were just talking about halos and stuff, and I think the halo is on you too as well, Liz. You kind of have a shadow partially through your face, but you know. We do the lighting. We're just gonna, it's fine. It's all good.
All of my sewing lights are, various directions.
What about a little LED strip that you put under your sewing machine? But that's probably in the living room, right?
That's in the living room on my new baby.
So hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion, currently telecommuting to work at Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in Brevard, North Carolina.
Ooh, and I'm trying to figure out my computer so I look about the same size as you. I got a new computer, everybody. So I'm experimenting with it and playing around with it. So
it's her new baby.
Yes. I figured to help you guys because my old computer, it was kind of, the quality was weird and it was showing signs of dying. So it was old. It was from where I used to work and it was wonderful. And it's still at home with a lot of my info on it. So, but I'm trying to make myself, okay, good. Yep.
By computer standards, it was like over 100 years old.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It was, I want to say probably 6 or 7 years old, which is kind of old by computer standards, right?
Yeah.
So snazzy new computer. I'm really loving it, but still working out all the quirks. So we'll see how this goes. So, I have things to talk about, but not necessarily show notes. So
we're winging it as normal.
It's not a thing, Liz. It's not a thing.
No, not a thing.
So I'm super excited because I was chatting with people and realized my sweater was almost done, my soldatna that I have not touched in weeks. And I finished it.
Yay! It looks so awesome.
I played Yarn Chicken. Here, I played Yarn Chicken with the taupe as it's stuck on my butt. So it's, my idea is to layer. So if I have something underneath that's going to show, I'm going to pull it down so it's actually doing a layering thing. But so that part's kind of hard. But I love the length because I didn't want a super short crop. I got to pull things up, and so the straight of it is a little wonky at the bottom because of the girls, but I'm really, really happy with it.
It looks so cool.
Thank you. Made with Amano Sammy cotton. So it's like, I haven't even blocked it. I don't think I'm going to. Speaking of the the topic we come up with every once in a while about blocking to help stitches settle, I don't think this is going to change very much because it's cotton. So I'm just wearing it. And I'm loving it. Yay!
That's so cool.
We did the CasaPinka. We were pairing up yarns last weekend for the CasaPinka local yarn store. Buy yarn, support your shop, and get a free pattern. And Liz, you were talking about, hey, we should do kits for other stuff. Like kits as in yarn combos, right?
Yarn pairings.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this
not
would go really cool for that pattern. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I just when we make kits, it really is either to measure out yarn or just to suggest yarn combos, not so much like everything's included, because often that's complicated because if a pattern writer is charging for their pattern, we can't just toss it in there. We need to, usually you have to buy it through Ravelry or something else to give the pattern writer the right money and credit where credit's due and all that stuff. So it's more, here's the yarn. And then you don't have to think about yarn. You can say, ooh, I like that color combo. And then get the rest of it yourself. So the reason I mentioned that, sorry, yarn fuzz. the reason I'm mentioning that when I'm showing off my sweater is we've had at least one other knitter pick out her own color combo for the sweater. And I'm thinking I might put some color combos if and when I have time, which won't be till later this week, probably. It's so hard to find time to do stuff right now. This is not the pandemic we were promised. That's our phrase right now. This is not the sit at home.
Stay home, they said. It'll be fun, they said. You could sleep in, they said. That was a lie.
We will put them up when we have time. Some of this we're low on right now, so I'll make color combos that I can, or I'll try to reorder the yarn. We are not trying to knock anyone who is staying home and does have time to knit. That's fantastic. We wish we could do that with you.
We so wish we could do that with you.
But we're trying to get stuff for you guys, and we're trying to do stuff for everybody else too. And as I was recently reminded, we're trying to maybe take time for ourselves in little fractions of inches within that. Anyway, I'm very excited with this. This was fun. If anyone
I love it.
Help with starting something like this, if you go back several episodes, you can remember the me talking about how I didn't want to do a short sleeve sweater out of like merino or wool. It still would be gorgeous, but it's written for DK, and I was worried that would be a little heavy. So this was perfect when I said, ooh, let me try the Sammy cotton. This has been wonderful. And I was worried when I gauged it, because I had to go way up on needle sizes. We have talked about the importance of gauge swatching before you start. And this is the one I had to gauge swatch in the round, and I was so grumpy. And it's bringing back fond memories of when we were actually all here in the shop. And I was grumbly about having to do this. But I'm so glad I did, because this fits. It's not too tight. The bottom is maybe a little loose, but that's because there's no shaping to it. So if it fits the girls, it's going to be a little looser down there. That's okay.
I think it looks really nice though, layered. Like you can layer with it being loose. Like if it was fitted, yeah, you'd see, yeah.
I've got a tank top under this. I might be able to wear it with like a button-down shirt, like the collar showing under this, which would be kind of cool. That's also a look with the little tails hanging at the bottom. You know, it's a thing. It's all good. So I was super excited. I'm like, I have to wear it. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be wearing it all day, but I had to wear it for you all. So
I finished the project too.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. This is an experiment, ladies and gentlemen. Liz finished a project, but she also, you put it in the mail, right?
I put it in the mail yesterday because it has to be in Texas by the 1st. Yeah.
Is
so
it like, does your sister watch this and she's going to see it before she gets
No, I can't keep a secret anyway. So I already sent her the picture. So, and she doesn't have time. She's a school teacher and there are kids at the house that she's got to make sure get their schoolwork done too. So like, yeah, she doesn't have time to watch us, which I don't know, which kept this a surprise.
I'm sharing it. And nah, that's not what I meant to do. You're also seeing my Zoom meetings. I don't know. You might only be seeing this, which this is an experiment.
On my end, I see the purple shawl with the little buttons down at the bottom and something across the top, but I can't make it out.
What?
And you in the corner. I see the picture.
Okay. Of the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
As much as I sent you, because, you know, I cropped the edges of it. It's so ginormous.
I'm taking it off because what I was looking at was the detail one, which I'm going to try to share right now too.
Okay. Oh yeah,
that's one now.
I stopped using the black and I marled the edges with the purple and white, and so that's the detail in there.
Yeah. So we're hoping that you're seeing pictures of, and I'm gonna go back to the big one that was so pretty. Of her. Do you see the big one now, Liz?
Yep, I see the big one.
Okay. Again, massive experiment. That was her Papillon done with the Kancha and the Quinoa, both double stranded. Okay, I'm gonna stop the sharing now. Filming this, and we're like recording this and try and do that. We've never done that before. I tested before we started, and anyway.
Hopefully it worked.
But we wanted you all to see it because it had to go in the mail. So
yeah, I had to go in the mail.
We finished some stuff though. It's so exciting, and now I'm doing like 6 million things at once, and I don't know if and when any of them are going to get finished. So, other topics I want to make sure I don't forget about are the mask extender.
The mask extenders, yeah.
I'll hold up some of them. We had people turn some in, and they're all awesome. And we said we'd give shout outs. I think this is our winner, by the way. I may not be showing all of them off, but I wanted to read out some people and what they did. We have 176 so far. And I know there's a few more people out there who are doing this, and thank you so much.
It's awesome.
There are copies of the pattern on our Facebook page, and you can always contact us. I don't know if I have space I could put them below this video, but we'll see. We're still collecting them. We did a couple of like 24-hour challenges. Woo! Sit down and make some. And our winners, our top contenders, Kathleen, not the usual shout out to Kathleen. This is a different Kathleen, but she knows who she is, made 38. So
wow.
She rocks, and she's donated some elastic that Geraldine will pick up so that people can make more masks. Kathy made 30, and she dropped off some extra buttons if people want to pick up buttons. Marion dropped off, shout out to Marion, also did 30. So wow. That's all like our top tier. That was fantastic. Sue and Marguerite worked together. Sue was knitting, and then Marguerite was putting the buttons on. They did 15. Karen did 15 as well. I'm going to try not to miss anyone. I'm really sorry if I do. Claire, shout out to Claire. She made 8. I got to see her when she dropped them off. It was great. Sorry, I have a new computer. Notifications should be on silent. We're going to have some pings because I haven't figured out what it's notifying me about yet to turn it off. Mary made 6. Shannon and Myrick together made 8. Those were fantastic. Same family. And then we had a couple of people with a bag of 17, a bag of 9, who didn't have names on there, but we thank you so much too.
Thank you. Awesome. Yes.
Geraldine will be picking these up this morning and distributing them to a couple different places at least. We're still accepting them though. We still have a handful of buttons out there, and I'm going to add from what's in here if there's any extra buttons out there. Shelly, shout out to Shelly. She has dropped off some envelopes with some pre-cut lengths of yarn in there. If you don't have yarn, but you want to help and do this, you can come by and pick them up and make them and drop them back off again. So that's been awesome. Like, I know everyone's looking for ways to help right now. Or, you know, if it is the pandemic they were promised and they're stuck at home with nothing to do, this is a way to find something to do. So yeah. if it feeds your soul, please do it. But I also want to caution people against feeling guilty if you don't, or feeling guilty if you didn't get to it during the 24-hour challenge. Or like there's a lot of stuff going around on Facebook right now about, you know, some people are going to be super productive during this time and some people are not, and both are okay. You got to be where you are. And if staying busy helps, awesome. If relaxing and doing nothing and watching, you know, binge watching Netflix, if that's what helps, do it. You got to look out for yourself right now. Yeah, I'm finding it hard. I'm having customers yell at me about how I need to look after myself. And you know what? Liz does that all the time. And she's right. And they're right. And it's really hard to do. Have you ever found that it's so much easier to give someone else advice than to do it yourself?
Yeah. All the time.
Yeah, me too. all the time. Oh my gosh. It's so much easier to just like, I know what to say in this situation, and or I have some advice, and it's advice I should be following. You know. Yeah. But one of the most helpful things, it's hard for me to do, but the most helpful things I've ever heard in my lifetime of therapy and all that crazy stuff is, I know most of the people who come in here and who watch this are women, and not all are, and this doesn't only apply to women, but in general, women are kind of conditioned to be the caregivers and to keep putting out and keep putting out and keep taking care of everybody else. And that's great. But it's like dumping water out of a pot. If no water ever gets put back in the pot, there's no more to dump out. You get emptied completely and utterly, and there's nothing left. And so it's not being selfish to refill your pot. That's my thing, right?
As a caregiver, to, my husband, needs a bit of care every now and then. As a caregiver, we're told, like, the I'm part of the VA caregiver support group thing, and we're told all the time, you can't caregive if you're not taking care of yourself. Even 5 minutes a day is something, like,
breathing and hydration. That's when I'm doing my lessons. That's that kind of thing. It's like, keep breathing. Take 5 minutes to breathe.
Yeah.
I'm starting to do my lessons remotely now, and it's reminding people to breathe. It's all interconnected, kind of.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but it's true. I mean, do what works to feed your soul. And for some people that is output, that is getting stuff done. And some people it's taking some quiet time right now. And either one, it's hard not to feel guilty about not doing the other. It's like, it's a vicious cycle. I don't know. So anyway.
So it is.
Yeah. So, show me, what? Show me what you're working on right now.
What was it? Well, I just finished section 12 of my all kinds of crazy and wild Papillon. I'm getting ready to start a new one.
Papillon, you've got another one. Sorry.
Right now I have 4 on because I just finished one, and I mailed that off, so I don't have it anymore. So I'm getting ready to start another one.
Yeah. Well, and people watching, either Liz's internet or mine's getting a little wonky, and it could be because with my new computer, I'm on the guest network at my shop because I couldn't find my password this morning. So I apologize. On my end, Liz is looking fuzzy, and I'm sorry if she is on your end or on the viewing screen. It's a work in progress, the whole thing.
Fuzzy makes this look cool.
Fuzzy makes everything look cool, right?
Yeah.
So I have a couple of things that I'd started that I got sidetracked on, which is why I finished this. They're both triangle shawls. Shocking. What? I decided to do something for myself that I was going to start the Feynan, which is a lace weight shawl on size 4s, and it's got all this pretty mosaic work at the end, but you have to start with one color and start down here with and get bigger. And I'm supposed to do this, so it's been fun, but I've already stalled out on it a little bit. It's got little itty bitty, she's calling them eyelets. They don't even really show up right now. But they're for tassels. They're for tassels when I'm done.
I'm so excited.
And I'm using this lovely green. This is Mayu Lace. Lovely green. I have to see if I can find the other colors because they're buried in my bag somewhere. I think they all ended up in different Ah. Hang on. I think they all ended up in different containers.
Uh-oh.
I probably should just pull them from the back wall. I'm going to be using this pink. And I'm going to be using a gray. Oh, there it is. I see it. I see it. Okay. These are the colors. Ta-da!
I like it. And for those of you who were on knit night on Friday and watched her start this in gray, yeah.
Go ahead.
She started it twice because she realized that, oops.
I was tired. And so we decided which colors would go where. And then I started it. And then I went, oh, poop. I started with the gray, and that's not what we decided would be the solid color. So therapeutic to rip it out. I'm trying to do this so it's not glary. That's the shawl, and those are the tassels. So I'm
Love
just tassels right there, and this will be pink and gray. Ooh, I think it's only going to take one skein of each. So I'm excited to see how that goes. But I'm the kind of person, if I do the same thing monotonously too much, I will not finish it. So I got as far as I could on that. We lost this.
Sorry.
And you're fine. This is part of the fun of our show, right? And then, because we sold a lot of kits for the CasaPinka Breathe in Hope shawl. And we still have some kits available. The pattern's no longer free, but we have kits available online if you want to look at color combos and see if there's two skeins that, ooh, I like that color combo. I'll use it for Breathe in Hope or something else. Go ahead and order online from us. I decided to start mine because why not? Because then we'll have a sample that's not in CasaPinka's colors, which we can't offer people. So I picked these two.
They look so different wound up.
I know, right? Let me find them so you can see what they look like before they're wound up, and then I'll show you what I've done. So one of them is right over my shoulder, right there.
There, yep.
This Yarn Baby Fairy Tale, so pretty. And Cascade Heritage Silk Charcoal. So these two wind up to look like these two. And I have started the shawl. Right now it's a little zebra looking, but I think as it gets bigger, it's gonna look cooler. You can just barely see, like the fairy tale has this light variation in it, and you can just barely see it.
It looks so cool.
Awesome, yeah. So I have 2 more of these kits left. And then we'll see. I could always talk to Yarn Baby about dyeing up more of that. I think that was a special colorway she did for us. So it won't come out the same next time because it's been a while. And even if she's like, okay, I think I know what that is. The same thing happened with the caramel macchiato that she made for us. Beautiful color both times, but very different because A, it was on a different base. I know very little about dyeing yarn, but if the yarn that you're dyeing has different fibers in it, the color will come out completely different. And also she was trying to recreate something she just kind of whipped up for us and had fun with. So yeah, one batch to another. Like if you ever have a stock photo that someone is using of a hand-dyed yarn, there's a really good chance what comes in the mail may look completely different, especially if it was dyed in a second or third batch. Or even like the idea of dye lots. We have talked about that before, maybe. Like the idea of what?
I don't think we've talked about dye lots as in depth.
Dye lots for a second. So when you buy yarn, they're often like, here, I've got a thing here that has a color number and then a lot number underneath it. That can be a little confusing. So all of our oranges will have this color number on it, but not all of them may have that dye lot on it. And the idea is if you dye, especially big companies that machine dye all at once, they do a big vat of yarn at the same time and then ball it up, you'll have, then the color will match. But if this especially, this is Cascade 220 Superwash. We have ordered it like a year apart. Same color will look totally different.
Totally different.
I might even be able to grab one for you. And that's because it wasn't dyed at the same time. And even if they try, it's really hard to make it match. I've had no dye lot yarn, like really cheap stuff that I bought, like the Karen 1 pound, you know, super bulky, lots of yarn. You buy it far enough apart, like a year or two apart, even if it says no dye lot, ain't gonna match, or there's a chance. So, Liz, I'm gonna throw it over to you about why hand dyes, even if they're from the same batch,
are different.
Well, I go look for an example of things that totally don't match.
Okay, so when you're hand dyeing, from what I understand, you are individually painting each or dyeing each skein. So you could, you know, you can get them to look more together, but every skein is going to have different speckles or different, you know, whatever, even in the same batch. And then different dye batches could be completely different from each other. She's wondering why. Like, we have some of our tonal fiber spates, which is a bigger hand dye kind of thing, and the same batch yarns can look completely different from each other just because they're dyed, you know, they're not commercially dyed. And so but the hand dyes, every skin's gonna look different.
Yeah, so even like bigger companies like Malabrigo and our fiber spates, they could be the same dye lot, but skein to skein they'll look different. And so sometimes they recommend, if you're making a sweater, to alternate, like go over and back with one skein and then over and back with a second one to like blend it better. I usually don't have time for that and energy, but I take my chances. But so the bigger companies, both of the ones I found are blue, but different kinds of blue. You saw me sneaking on purpose back across because the Puerto is our best example of this. But here's one. I don't know how well this will show up on the camera. Here is, you can tell this one's been in the shop for a little while. It's a little old. It's not in great shape because it keeps falling off the wall. This is Cobalt Heather. Dye lot. I usually say ends in because dye lot's a huge big number, right? Ends in 28. Here's our new batch of Cobalt.
Completely different. You can tell on the screen.
Completely different. This Cobalt, and it's even Cobalt Heather. This one's got a lot more heather in it than this one. Could have been they changed mills. This one ends, the labels are even different. The dye lot's in a different place. It's ends in 99. Totally different. So we would not send, if you wanted 9 skeins of Cobalt Heather, we wouldn't send these. We try to send ones that are all the same dye lot. That's why you hear people saying, buy all your yarn at once, because you want it all to be the same dye lot. And we as a local yarn shop, and hopefully others would too, if we don't have enough of the same dye lot, we'll put in a new order so you can have all the same dye lot. This is my best example. I love this yarn. This is a Puerto. It's hard, and I'm putting it right.
Oh, I can see it right now.
Yeah, it's got teals and blues, and it's so wonderful. And someone wanted a sweater out of this, and we only had like 3 or 4 balls, so we ordered it. And the new dye lot, this is one that ends in 6/8. The new dye lot looks totally different.
Yeah, it looks lighter. It's not as,
Yep. It does. It still has a little teal and a little blue, but her husband fell in love with this color. And so when I showed her this, the sale was off. And I respect that, because I get it, because it's not what you were promised, or what you were expecting. And sometimes it's out of our control. And that's the tough thing about trying to have an online shop right now, is trying to take pictures, or all this remote, like video conferencing with everybody, sending them pictures. my phone does not want to take true color photos. And even with the editing, it's hard to find just the right thing. I'd have to do it for every single picture, and there really isn't time. I try, but because then there's people's monitors change the color it looks. So even if I got true color on my phone, it's not how it's going to look on someone else's phone or monitor.
Before all this happened, we were pulling up color cards and the website colors for a yarn, and the color that was on the card and the color that was on the monitor looked two different colors.
Totally different.
Yeah.
And I had to ask the company, like, which one is closer to this color we're trying to match? And what they told me was not what I was expecting. And that's what makes buying yarn remotely so hard. I mean, on top of that, there's the I can't squish it and feel it.
Aww. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons people come to local yarn stores. You can touch and feel the yarn. Yay! And right now that's hard. Social distancing makes, physical distancing, and then not wanting to contaminate people with stuff. Oh my gosh, just makes it hard. So, anyway, so that's our crash course on dye lots. I wish we still had the shades of green that we sold this weekend.
Oh yeah.
One of them looked totally different than the rest. And let's see, I'm trying to think of the yarns that people will look through. I'm trying to think of one I can show y'all. And then we should wrap up kind of soon, but
yeah.
Let's see. So these are two of our hand dyes. These are the same dye lot, but one is what I would call dirtier and one is what I would call cleaner. So depending on the look you want in your piece, you may buy a different skein. We have customers who will come unwrap almost every single one to see which one has the color combo they want. But one of the reasons it's hard to show you all some of this is people were so generous and bought so many of our kits. This is another one. You can see it right behind me here. People have been ogling this yarn, which was our hand dye from Twist Fiber Studio. Shout out to Twist Fiber Studio. The Dragon's Lair. So this one has a lot more red in it, whereas this one, when it was dyed, actually has some yellow in it. I mean, if I tried to, go ahead.
Some of them look red, some of them look orange, but that one that you said has yellow also has pink. Like on my monitor, it looks like it's pink.
It's got some green where the yellow mixed in with the black. So putting a photo of this up online and trying to
they're all going to be different.
Someone's going to be disappointed if this was pictured and they get this in the mail. But it's so hard to control, which is, again, why when you shop in person, you can get what you want. And then when you're not shopping in person and remotely, you kind of have to trust us a little and hope that we're going to do our best. Like I was thinking that about some of the kits that we put online, Liz, is when it arrives, or like if it's hard to represent true color, but hopefully people will trust that, especially you as my color guru, are picking out something that's going to go really well together.
I tried really hard to make sure that,
She's
colors
really
went
good at
together.
what she does. So,
Except for fades. I can't fade.
Well,
keep saying that.
We haven't had to pick out fades for people in a while.
Most of my color options get two reactions. Huh? Or ooh.
And 9 times out of 10, the people will go, huh, come back to us later and say, oh, you were right.
Yeah.
I didn't think this was going to work, but you were right. Not everyone's gonna fall into that category. That's okay. But, anyway. So have we ambled around enough today?
I think we have. I'm now working on putting the color into my new shawl.
I think that's different. What are you working on?
It's another Papillon. And I'm mixing
Shocker.
Liana. It's the linen nylon.
It's the linen one.
It's a linen one. It's all theoretically sport weight, but because, I'm not playing with tiny needles, I went to my small needles, which are a size 9. And but I wanted a summer weight Papillon, because all of my Papillons right now are DK weight wools or heavier.
Well, especially with that whole double stranded thing you got going for some things.
Yeah. So anyway, I like the looseness of it. That's the so far. So it'll be nice and loose, and it'll get softer with wear. And I'm just worried about it slipping off the needles, because linen, you don't have to worry about your stitches falling down. If they fall off the needle, they all stay right there in their little loops, but they will slip off the needles faster than anything.
You gotta hope they keep their shape so you can stick your needle back in.
Most of the time it does, but slicker than snot on a doorknob.
I forgot to open the box so I could show it off to people. It might have to be part of our QVC tomorrow. I got one set each of the blue shorties and the red shorties in. That's our teaser. I'm gonna leave you all hanging. We only have one set of each, and one might already be earmarked for Shia later this week. We'll see, but we can order more if people like them. Maybe we'll showcase them tomorrow.
That'll be fun.
I can't keep track of everything, so the box isn't open yet. But
we didn't do show notes, so
no, we don't work well with that. Yeah, I got to get the mask extenders ready for Geraldine, and because it's just after 10, and clean up the mess I just made piling yarn here. And get ready for the day of business. I hope I'm going to talk to some of you today if you need yarn. So, yay.
I got to go make bread and,
Ooh, making bread. Yay.
I know what I'm having for dinner tonight.
Okay, so we're going to sign off. This is part of the cool thing with my computer is I can end the meeting without having to scroll around. So I'm going to end the meeting in a second, but we'll say we love you and we miss you. And Liz, what do you say?
Stay tuned for more adventures with Liz and Rebecca.
Yay!
We miss you.
We miss you. Bye-bye.